Hi guys, hi. How's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing a haul in retrospect. So we're going to be going through all the things that I hauled in October and November of last year and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all my feelings of the products that I hauled in last year. I started doing these because my friend JC told me, you bring in all this stuff and you never tell us how you feel about them. And I figured the best way to go about it was look at them a year later. I have an enormous makeup inventory, so I can put some inventories up in the cards for you if you'd like to see them. I have a lot of makeup. It's not often that I get to use the things that I'm bringing in right away and or get a great feeling about them even within the first couple of months of having them in my collection. So I do come back to you every year afterwards. We talk about some of the products. Some of them are like blast from the past. You remember when these were giant cult followings on the platform, but I hope that sounds like something you're interested in. I always like reviews of products because it really does give us some idea of the great things out there as well as the things to steer clear of. But I like to hear about those reviews after somebody has used them for, quite a bit of time, a substantial amount of time, not just like I just used this today and I'm going to tell you it's great. With that said, for those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty, so I do get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here. Ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup though, because I just really like to talk about makeup. And I'm sure if you're here, you also like to talk about makeup. So let's just do that. Let's talk about some makeup. You guys, I bought some wallpaper for those doors back there. It is white brick look wallpaper, like cling paper, right? So sticker, like contact paper, I guess, that we used to use in our drawers. Now you can use them on your walls. I bought some for those back there. I will put it on those doors back there at some point. I'm hoping that will help with the coloring that's going on in my lighting these days. This room is painted like this peachy color, and then with those doors, like all of the lighting looks very, very orange and warm, even with the overhead light turned off and just my, cool ring light turned on. So there's that. Today, we are not talking about wallpaper. Today we are talking about the products that I brought into my collection last October and November and letting you know how I feel about them. So October and November are a pretty significant time frame in a beauty lover's life because there's a lot of like Black Friday sales, and there's the Sephora fall event that goes on, the fall sales event, and there's a lot that you could be purchasing during this time of year specifically. And I'm really proud of myself because I don't have a whole lot here. I do have a lot here, but I don't have a whole lot here. Okay, I do have a whole lot here, but not a lot. Am I making any sense? With that said, let's walk into the things that I purchased first in October. In October, I really didn't have much. I got, a few things in gratis. Those gratis products were mostly hair products, so I don't really typically bring you that information here on what I brought in as far as gratis goes, unless it is makeup. And none of the gratis that I received in October was makeup. It was all hair stuff, and there was the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm Eye Temporary Eye Tightener. I still have it. I'm still using it. It's a skincare product, not really a makeup product, but knowing that that's a year old is kind of crazy to me, but I just opened it not that long ago. I do have it on my eyes today. Do I think it's amazing? Not so much. I remember when I brought that in, I was like, and maybe I'll do this on camera because it was crazy. I watched it with my own eyes, like watching it with my own eyes on my own eyes. I think it's a little less amazing as it was presented in the first place. I think that you have to use maybe a whole lot of it. And I'm not willing to put a whole lot of it on my under eyes, if I'm honest with you. Okay, so with that said, I did purchase quite a bit in October. I purchased a few things from FabFitFun. A couple of the things from FabFitFun I didn't keep in my collection. One was a palette that I bought specifically for a giveaway, and that one did go into a giveaway. And the other one was a Vesca Kiss by Rio bronzer, and it was a very, very my skin tone type of bronzer. I said in that video I thought that they had sent me the wrong shade, and it was so light that I wasn't going to put it into a giveaway, and I didn't. I gave it to my daughter, who's very fair-skinned, fair-haired. She's strawberry blonde, so I gave it to her, and she uses it. I'm not sure that she uses it as a bronzer. I mean, she's 12, so who knows? And that, she was 11 then, so who knows what she uses it as, but I did give it to her. The other two things that I got from FabFitFun that year, and they only counted for 1 point for me because they came in a duo, and they were the Fenty Gloss Balm creams. I did get it in Cupcaken and Bubble. I wrote it down because I can't read the bottom of these. Bubble Binge. So Bubble Binge is the pink, the hot pink one, and Cupcaken is the more mauve tone one. Now this one, I will tell you, I have worn quite a bit. It is a beautiful formula and a really, really pretty color. I think it does a lot to just pinken up my lips just enough that it's not like bubblegum pink or Barbie pink, and I feel comfortable in it. This one, you know, I gotta tell you, I haven't worn this one very much, and probably a lot of the reason is because it is a really, really pinky pink, and I just have a hard time with a pinky pink on me. Pinky pink doesn't look great under most of the lip liners I wear, which are more of like a neutral like mauve tone or almost like a gray based. I haven't gotten a whole hell of a lot of use out of this product, and I need to. But with that said, I do think that this was a good duo to have purchased because I have gotten a lot of use out of this one. I also purchased some stuff from Ulta, and I was influenced heavily by my mother when we went to Ulta to purchase these things. So one of the things that I did purchase was another Urban Decay lip bond. This is one of those liquid lipsticks that you shake up really, really good, and then you put it on and it becomes a shiny like lacquer lip product that stays forever. And this is in the shade PDA. Listen, I actually quite love this shade. In hindsight, like, I know that I don't wear liquid lipsticks hardly at all, so this was maybe not the best purchase for me, and this leans a lot more red on my lips than I really anticipated it would. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like muted coral, almost like rosewood, and it definitely leans more hot coral on me, almost red. And because of that, I have a hard time wearing it. So I haven't necessarily gotten the use out of this product that I wish I had. I also purchased a couple items from Fenty. So I purchased the Fenty Ease Drops Lit All Over Glow Enhancer, and I do use this as a primer in my collection. This one is in the shade Pink Pearl. I don't know who's using this as anything other than a primer, but it is really, really glowy. So I can't use it as anything other than a primer. Or, yeah, I think that you guys can see it. Like, I think if it were a little bit more thick, you could use it as a highlight, but it really does serve me well as a glowy primer and or just an all over glow enhancer when I don't feel like wearing a foundation. I am, 47 years old. My skin is mostly dry. I like a sheer to light medium coverage at best foundation type. I am more about my eyes than my base, if I'm honest, and I lean very neutral, cool, olive tone, sometimes warm, dependent on the time of year. This is a really beautiful, like just glow enhancer, healthy skin looking kind of primer for my skin that I use actually quite frequently on its own because it just makes my skin look good. If you're using this as something other than a primer, please let me know how you're using it. I would be sure interested to know because I did try it as a highlight and I think it's not necessarily thick enough and or like impactful enough as a liquid highlighter, but I also think that it was marketed as a foundation and I cannot see using it as a foundation, but then says me who's using it as a primer with no foundation over the top of it. So I guess then it becomes my foundation, right? Maybe I'm like speaking out both sides of my mouth in that sentence. The other thing that I purchased from Fenty in that moment was the Fenty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. This is an illuminating eye stick and it's got the really weird like ball applicator and you put it on, you put it on underneath your eyes. And this is part of the problem with this is that a very minimal squeeze just shoots out so much product and I hate that. Additionally, I'm not a fan of this product. I really don't love this product. I think that it does everything it possibly can to exacerbate the texture under my eyes. And that might be because just so much product comes out with even just the slightest. I didn't even push on this all that much, but it is brightening. I mean, it is brightening. You can't say it's not. I think that if I could like perfect it, maybe put it into a pot and pull out just exactly what I want out of the product, then I might like it more. But with this one, I definitely feel like there's some kind of problem with the applicator of it because just too much comes out. And I understand why the applicator is the way it is, right? They want you to kind of like roll it on your under eyes and give your under eyes a massage, which is why it has that ball tip applicator on it. But I just feel like way too much comes out of the product. And because of that, it's been super hard for me to use. I do have the shade Seashell. It's not lying in the fact that it is an eye brightener though, and it does a really good job of brightening up your under eyes. The last two things that I purchased in October were these two palettes here. I do have a palette roulette on both of them. I am not the biggest fan of either one of these palettes. So this is the ABH Rose Metals palette, and while I love the formula of this palette, I'm not 100% sold on this color story on me specifically. I do think that there are some standout shades in this. There are some beautiful formulations in this, and I do love these shadows individually. But together in a palette, like I would need to utilize this and another palette, maybe one with some lighter mattes in it to get what I deem a beautiful eye look, because this just continues to create, you know, more of a grungy, like almost mechanical or like I would say steampunk, but I love steampunk, so I'm not going to go there, but a very industrial, I guess, look to every eye look that I do with this, just because of the sheer like color story of it. Like I love this palette for its individual shades, but I need to always bring something else into it. And I'm not opposed to bringing in another palette and to work with it. But because I have to bring in a whole nother palette with lighter shades and kind of mix and match, it makes it a little less attractive for me to pull and use on a daily basis because I have to bring in too many things to make it work. This Robin Eisenberg palette in collaboration with Urban Decay, beautiful palette. Like this packaging alone is stunning. The palette is meh. I mean, I think I said going into the haul of this, I don't love Urban Decay Naked Formula. I never have. I probably never will. I've taken back almost every Urban Decay Naked palette that I've had. The only one that still lives in my collection is this one. And the only reason why this still lives in my collection is because of the artwork on the palette, if I'm honest with you. Additionally to that, I guess, you know, some of these shades right here I could use every single day, but I hate how much you have to dip in and pack on and dip in and pack on to get these to show up pigmented enough to feel like you're getting your just desserts. The rest of them, like these ones down here, they're just not great. I wouldn't repurchase this palette, and I probably also would not recommend this palette. Whereas with the ABH Rose Metals palette, I probably wouldn't repurchase it, but I would recommend it. It's a beautiful palette for, like, I would say a much deeper skin tone than me would be able to utilize this as a one and done eyeshadow palette. I'm just not that person. So then moving into the purchases that I made in November. In October, I had taken my beauty budget and cut it in half. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to purchase a whole lot, right, throughout the rest of the year because I didn't want to. But we had Black Friday sales and we had the Sephora sale that typically starts the end of October and ends the beginning of November. And I waited till the very last moment to purchase anything from the Sephora sale, much like this year. And the only reason I ended up purchasing from the Sephora sale is because the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette popped up on the Sephora website and I wanted it. So that's a spoiler for what's to come. Let's start first though with what I purchased from Ulta. And what I purchased from Ulta was a couple more Fenty gloss bombs. And these ones were in ice and heat because, my goodness, what is going on? Can you hear all the sirens? I purchased these to figure out what all the hype was about. I have used ice quite a bit. I actually quite love ice. You can tell the doe foot is stained in there because I use it quite often. I don't mind it. I don't think it does anything to plump your lips. I think it does a lot of cooling. It's like sucking on a menthol lozenge when you have a cold. It is really a great lip gloss. I don't mind it at all. Heat also is not bad. Like, it is warm. It smells warm. It's got that kind of like weird, like almost Too Faced lip injection kind of smell to it. I have a really hard time with the lip injection formula. Number one, it hurts. Number two, it does weird thing. I think I'm allergic to something that's inside of it because it does weird things to like the back of my throat, makes it feel all fuzzy almost like. So I took every single one of those and got them out of my collection because I can't use them. This one I can, but I don't love it. I don't love the smell of it. I don't love the taste of it. It has like this really nasty, like same old gloss bomb, like taste, only with the like weird, like whatever's in it to make it like plumping also taste to it. I don't love it. I also don't think it does a really great job of plumping my lips, if I'm honest with you. I don't love it, but I also don't necessarily hate it. I just haven't gotten a whole hell of a lot of use out of it. I love the shade of it. I mean, it's very, very similar to the Cupcaken one in the cream formula, just maybe a little bit more warm. And I love the shade. I just don't love the product. I also bought 3 of the KVD Dazzle sticks. So these were a hot topic about that time. And I had purchased one or gotten one, I think, in gratis. And then decided to go purchase 3 more of them. So I did purchase the red, the green, and the like champagne-y pink one of them. The one that I had prior to is this one here, which is kind of like a gold. So I had to, you know, I don't know, have all of them. I have used all of them quite a bit because they're beautiful cream eyeshadows that literally lock into place and don't go anywhere. And they are super impactful in an eye look. Just really stunning. And all of these, you know, for a cream product, not one of them feels dried out yet. So that is them right there. And they're just pretty. And I purchased them right around the holiday season, so they were perfect for holiday eye looks, and I love them. And I just recently pulled them back into my Shop My Stash basket so that I could start using them again, because here we are, holiday season all over again. Who doesn't want beautiful, impactful, sparkly eyes? I do. The only other thing that I purchased at Ulta was this, and I named the elephant Charlotte. This is the first and only Hourglass face palette that I have ever purchased. And I'm very sad to say that I haven't used it nearly as much as I should have for a palette that I spent so dang much money on, which is why I didn't buy one this year. I really want the one with the octopus on it. Is it an octopus or squid, whatever it is? I really want it. It's so pretty. I know that I don't know what it is that's on it, but it is beautiful. That turquoise and that light blue that the octopus is. Oh my God, it's so pretty. We could call it Edgar. This one's name is Charlotte. Listen, I think this is beautiful. I want more, but because I have not used this one hardly at all, I'm not going to spend another $90 to get another one that I'm never going to use. So I'm making smart decisions, but I am happy that I have this in my collection. It feels girthy. It feels luxe. Then from Sephora and the Sephora sale, I picked up quite a few things. So first and foremost, we have the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. I did use this in like a get ready with me that I did on my YouTube channel, but I haven't used it since. So I basically paid for it to utilize it one time. Here's the true tea. I do still have it in the drawer that I put all of my palettes in when they first come into my collection for purposes of reviewing them through my palette roulette series. And I will be doing a palette roulette on this very, very soon, probably this spring, honestly. But I'm really so disappointed in the fact that I haven't used this at all, except for that one time. I also purchased Melt Bad Side Zodiac Earth palette. I am a Virgo, so this is an Earth Zodiac sign palette, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I have used this, and I have done a palette roulette on this palette, and I love this palette. This is probably the most consistent formula that I have seen from Melt, and I have a lot of Melt palettes. So I love this palette. It's like Urban Decay, or not Urban Decay, it's like ABH Subculture 2.0. Love it. Will never get rid of it. Love that palette. Couldn't be happier I own it. I also got this because these were in a pack, a 3-pack. I didn't buy the new set because I feel like I don't use these enough to feel like I need to buy a whole new trio, even though I wanted that trio so bad because it has a highlighter in it. I don't feel like I need to purchase them. These do get used. They get used often in my collection, but as you can see, as often as I am using them, often for me means something very different from somebody who has a much smaller collection and is using something often, right? So these do get used often in my collection, but not often enough that I think I need to purchase a whole nother one. I love probably this one the most. It does get the most use from me, but all of them are just super beautiful and really super happy to have them in my collection as well. These were the LYS Higher Standard Cream Blushes. I have a full size of this, but I was so excited to see the minis. I love the minis. If you can get them in minis, minis is the way to go. You would not be disappointed in those products. Those are probably one of the better cream formulas that I have. Then I got these. I've wanted these for like a very long time, and they didn't have the contour wand in a mini pack, but I wanted to try the contour, the blush, and the highlight, so I ended up getting the contour in a full size. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand, and this is in the shade, I don't know, contour. I don't know if it has different shades. Does it have different shades? I don't know. I really, really like this. I think that this does magical things with the blendability of it so that you can put it on utilizing its stupid puff in there and not really make a mess of your face. And what I also love about these is that it locks. So when you turn it, it'll lock so that nothing comes out. And that is not the case for some of these products that have those floof balls at the end of them. Even the minis have that locking feature on them, which I love. This Spotlight wand, hands down one of my favorite highlighters in my collection. Like, I love this highlight so dang much, and this is just a mini, but I mean, shoot, it's lasted me for a long time, and I use that highlight a lot. And then I have the Glowgasm blush wand, and this one is in the shade Pinkgasm, I believe. Yeah, Pinkgasm. It's pretty. Not my favorite. I do want to try this in the matte formula. I think that I would like the matte formula better. I'm just not a wholehearted glowy blush kind of person for the most part, but I do like this a lot. Just not as much as I like the contour wand and the highlighting wand. I did get this Huda Beauty Glowish. This is the Blur Jam. This is a silicone-free smoothing primer. I should have known better, honestly. I am not a smoothing primer kind of person, although I do have the Tatcha Putty Primer and the Tarte Timeless Smoothing. I love both of those. This is kind of a jerk. I mean, honestly, this primer you have to be very, very specific with, or it will cause all kinds of problems on your face. So this is a silicone-free smoothing primer that you have to use the smallest, tiniest, itty-bittiest amount and press into your skin. If you swipe it, you're going to cause issues. You have to press it into your skin, and then you have to wait a full 5 minutes before you put any makeup on your face, which is fine for me, but for a lot of people it's not. So I don't recommend this primer. I don't love this primer. It's seen so little use in the year that it's been in my, I mean, can y'all see? I don't love it. I think it's the most fickle primer and doesn't work with every foundation that I have. And I know, I just did a primer video, and I know that some primers, you have to be very specific about the foundations that you're using with those primers, but I can get almost every single one of my primers to work with almost every single one of my foundations. With this one, I just can't. I don't know what's going, it always pills. It always pills. And if you don't use the perfect amount, it doesn't matter what you put on top of it, it will pill. And what is the perfect amount? Like, somebody do the math for me. The next thing I purchased was this, and that is how I know that this is not great. This made this pill. This is a beautiful foundation. This is the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I kind of feel like that name was a lot longer than that the first time I read it, but this one is in the shade 190 Light Cool. And it's interesting to me because I have a lot of warm foundations in my collection, but recently, and clear back to this, I've been being shade matched for cool, and I would never have assumed myself to be a cool skin tone. I think of myself more as a leaning warm, neutral leaning warm skin tone. This looks beautiful on my skin. And the longer I wear it, the more pretty it looks, which is so crazy to me. I hate this when I first put it on. but love it by the time I'm done putting on the rest of my makeup. It is just so pretty, and the longevity of it is beautiful. And honestly, the more days in a row I wear it, the better I think my skin looks, which maybe I'm just lying to myself because it says that it's good to your skin. But I really do think that I see a difference 7 days after wearing this every single day, you know, 7 days in a row, than I do wearing this and then wearing something else for a couple days and then coming back to this. Like, my skin definitely looks different. I have no regrets. This was a super expensive purchase. This bottle is glass. It's got a lot of girth to it. Feels expensive. It looks expensive. It's beautiful. Okay, the last few things I have here, I have a lipstick that I got from KVD. So one of my favorite lipsticks is the KVD Studded Kiss in Lolita. Probably favorite shade, hands down. Really great formula, really beautiful and creamy, and just really does its due diligence to make my lips look really good. And I don't think I have the best the best looking lips on the planet. But this is the KVD Epic Kiss lipstick in She Defined. And the reason why I was drawn to this is because, number one, it has the same kind of packaging as the studded lip does. But also it's slim in a slim stick. And it was like $11 on sale. And with the Sephora sale going on, I got 20% off that. So I got it for like $7. There's more to it than that, right? It looked like a beautiful shade. I love the Studded Kiss line. This kind of is reminiscent of the Studded Kiss line in the creaminess factor, but I really didn't love this shade. And I think that this is, I mean, yes, it's a really pretty rosewood or kind of like peachy rosewood shade on my skin, but the more I tried to put it onto my lips, the more it sheared out, and it just didn't look pretty. It looked more peach or orangey peach than it did rosy peach, and it was a lot more sheer, and it's just not what I'm going for in a lipstick. I mean, it's very, very coral, and I don't, maybe it's my chemistry, my skin chemistry, that is making that color come out in it versus the rose. I mean, the bottom of it really makes it look like it's more of a rose tone nude, where I feel like it is more coral. And I don't love that color on me. I do like the formula of it. It was a really great formula, but I haven't used it as much as I would like, just because I don't love the shade of it on me. Then I also purchased this Patrick Ta sculpted palette. This is the She's Sculpted Crim Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. And I know it doesn't look like it maybe, but I actually quite like this a lot. I am not sad that I have this in my collection. I think the contour shade in here is pretty much perfection for my shade for my skin. But I also think that the bronzer, even though it looks really warm in here, isn't nearly as warm on my skin as it looks in the component. It just looks like a really beautiful natural bronze, and the contour perfectly suits that bronzer, and both perfectly suit my skin. So I actually quite love this, even though it doesn't look like it's been used a whole lot. I know that you can see some use in it, but I maybe don't use it as much as I want to, but I do love that product. And then the last thing was this NARS Rising Star palette. This was their cheek palette of the year for that holiday season. I love this. I love this palette. I love these 4 shades here. I think they're beautiful blushes. I love just bouncing my blush brush all around, or using them even individually is beautiful. These are more of a sheer wash of colors, so you can go crazy ham with this thing and not worry about looking like a clown at the end of the day. I love this blush palette. I don't really necessarily love the highlighters that are in here, but the blushes, beautiful. This is the second NARS face palette that I have. I love their face palettes so much. I love their blushes a lot too. So, of course, I'm going to love their face palettes. I will tell you, in neither face palette that I have do I love, love, love the highlights that are in those palettes, but the blushes are beautiful. So with that said, like, of all the things that I picked up in October and November of last year, I do have some definite fails and I do have some definite wins. I would say there's a lot more in here that could be a win if I got to use it more, or if its contraption had been different. Like, I think that about this. I love this product, but also hate it because too much comes out and I can't perfect it. I would say the same can be said of like the Blur Gem. Like, the perfection process is just not there. So that lends to me hating this product. But there's a lot more that I love, right? I love all of these things. I love all of these things. I love so much more than what I don't love in this whole haul. I'm really happy with the purchases that I made. I think none of them necessarily were money not well spent, because I did get a good idea of some of the things that I love or, you know, don't love about certain products, except for this. But even this, I love the artwork of it. So regardless of whether I wish it was artwork on a formula that I love, but the artwork of it was maybe worth it to me because I knew I didn't love Urban Decay Naked formulation, but still bought the palette. I knew I wasn't going to like it when I first purchased it, which may seem silly. It may seem silly, but that's okay. I have so many products that I actually, that became favorites out of this purchase. So, haul in retrospect, yeah, I think it was all worth it, to be honest. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I have many haul in retrospects here on my channel. I pulled inspiration from Lauren May Beauty, who does a lot of haul in retrospect videos on her channel, or had done at that point a whole lot of haul in retrospect videos on her channel. She does also go back and look at the purchases that she's made in the past and really does a lot of deep dive, in-depth thinking on some of those products. So I definitely pulled inspiration from her, but also just wanted to make sure that you all were getting my feelings about the products that I'm bringing into my collection after I've used them for quite some time. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that if you did, you're considering giving it a thumbs up, liking the video, subscribing to the channel. If you want to consume more of my content, I have about 900 videos on this platform that you can choose from. I'm certain that you will find something you love. Kind of a kick in the pants to hang out with, so I hope that you want to stick around for more and that you'll subscribe before you go. What do you think about the products that I'm talking about today? Do you have these products? Did you pick them up also? And what are your thoughts and opinions on those products? I sure would be interested to hear from you down in the comment section, so don't forget to hit me up down there. I hope that you and yours are doing well, that you are all safe and healthy and getting along as best you can, that you are all loving each other but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.